What's the most romantic thing that's ever been done for you? A guy bought me a coat once. That's really it. Was there ever a time in your life when you thought you were going to die? Yes. Hey guys, I am Charlotte the Starlet. These are my girls, Angel and Glitter, and this is my little boy Seth. Right, today we got a real special video on the agenda because we just hit 2,000 Starlets. I can't believe it, honestly. Thank you guys so much. I still can't believe so many of you like my videos. So, in order to celebrate, just like we did for the 1,000 Starlet milestone, I am going to be doing a really juicy Q&A for you guys. Yo, we can make this into a kind of tradition on this channel. Anyway, so I got the questions on my phone. Here we go. Okay, for the first question, we got, when was the last time you told a lie? I have to think about this. Oh, I think it was yesterday when my dad asked me if I'd eaten. If I'm really honest, this is something I lie to my parents about regularly because food is really important to my family and my culture. My parents and even my grandparents always ask me if I've eaten properly, but the thing is, I'm trying to lose weight right now. So I've been really reluctant to eat as much as I usually do. Oh man, but sometimes when I start eating, it's like I can't stop, you know? And God forbid I have a craving or something for like chocolate, because once I start on that, I definitely can't stop. But yeah, these days I've just mainly been eating like salads and loads of fruit. But to my family, it's like those don't even count as food. Especially to my dad. Oh my gosh. He checks if I've eaten properly like almost every day. And sometimes I just lie and say I have when I actually haven't to stop him from worrying. I may be lying, but my intent isn't bad. Anyway, question 2. What was your first kiss like? Thankfully, the guy I had my first kiss with was a pretty decent kisser. It was not bad at all, and I've had some pretty bad kisses with guys. I think I mentioned this in my last Q&A or in a story time. I think it was a Q&A. But yeah, my very first one wasn't bad. Alright, number 3. What is your least favorite thing about your best friend? Oh, snap. Who's my best friend, damn it? I have like 5 competitors. Alright, so one of my best friends, she is one of the sweetest, kindest, most generous, caring people I've literally ever met. If you've got some trouble or you're feeling down, she will go above and beyond to make you feel better and help you out without thinking twice about it, with literally no hesitation. But the thing that makes her such a great person is also her fatal flaw. She's kind and generous to a fault, to the point where she ends up neglecting herself and her own feelings and well-being. She's also so caring that if you're in trouble, she'll be willing to step in and take the brunt of the punishment for you. And I've seen firsthand what the effects of all of that does to her. The stress of bearing so many other people's burdens hurts her. It's harmful, but she doesn't always realize that. And even when she does, she continues doing it. And I just really wish that she'd be as kind to herself as she is to others, because she truly does deserve it. more than anyone else I know. Anyway, what would you do with $1 million? Shit, I'd probably go out to eat every night, buy a new car even though I don't drive. Ooh, I'd definitely go on a huge shopping spree, mainly for clothes, makeup, ribbons to put in my hair. I'd just probably end up buying a hell of a lot of dresses and crop tops, which will probably be all pink. Oh, I'd get some jewelry. I really want to get a charm bracelet, new shoes, some heels, even though I can't walk in them and have nowhere to wear them. Oh, and yeah, the writer in me would probably lead me to a bookshop. Oh my gosh, I'd buy dozens of books and manga to read on this channel. I'd probably also buy a bunch of new notebooks and pens, like gel pens, fine liners, quills. Yeah, what would you guys get? Let me know in the comments. If you could have someone else's life for one day, who would it be? Ooh, okay, so if I'm honest, I've always dreamed, ever since I was little, of being rich and famous. I always thought that if I did ever get famous, it would probably be for writing books, which I still want to happen one day, but I also kind of want to be a rich and famous YouTuber, you know? Who knows, maybe I could be both. That's the kind of life I would love to have. So I'd probably go with some famous influencer. I'm saying influencer instead of author because honestly, I think a career as an influencer would be more interesting than an author and more relevant too, because unless you write something that's super successful, like something on the level of Harry Potter or Star Wars, unless you create something like that, then honestly you're more likely to get recognized and could potentially earn more money overall as an influencer. That is the unfortunate reality. That's not to say authors don't get recognized and don't earn much money. A lot of them do. However, for every really successful author, there is about 100 more who have failed horribly. It can be really hard to make a living as a writer, especially a new writer who's written stuff but hasn't had anything published like me. Anyway, oh yeah, I haven't actually named someone I'd want the life of. I'd say either someone like James Charles, or if I'm going the author route, maybe Jacqueline Wilson or J.K. Rowling. I want to be that kind of author one day. The kind that's written something that's been read and loved by thousands of people, nationally and internationally. I kind of just want to be a household name. Anyway, have you ever let someone take the blame for something you did? What happened? Oh, do you know what? One time when I was little, I remember my dad took me and I think my sister as well out shopping. We just went to the supermarket, I think. And when we finished, we came out and went back to our car. But when I opened the car door, I accidentally scratched the car of the person next to us. It was the tiniest scratch ever, but the driver threw a fit over it. He took a picture of it on his phone and yelled at my dad for it. I was only like 7 or 8 or something, and I was too scared to say that it was me. So I just kind of let my dad take the blame for me. And afterwards, I could tell that my dad was kind of upset about it, but he knew that it was an accident, so he didn't yell at me for it. He was nice about it, but he was like, next time, try not to hit the car next to us. I just nodded and didn't say anything, but I felt so guilty. To this day, I still feel guilty over it. Sometimes that memory just creeps back into my head at night while I'm trying to sleep. Honestly, why does my brain do this to me? Oh, was there ever a time in your life when you thought you were going to die? Yes. So, talking about this is still kind of difficult for me because it's such a distressing memory. But, a few years ago, I ended up getting really dehydrated one day. Like, so dehydrated that I went into shock. I remember feeling like something was off, something wasn't right, but I couldn't put my finger on what it was exactly. Until I started to get this excruciating pain all over my body. I was having a sickle cell crisis triggered by this dehydration. Like, I've had sickle cell all my life, and even mild dehydration can trigger a crisis. And looking back on it now, it's so obvious what was wrong. But at the time, I didn't know. My parents were trying to help me out. Like, they took me upstairs to their room so they could kind of keep an eye on me and try and do whatever they can to help. But as the night went on, the more I deteriorated. I fell asleep for a while, but the point I knew that something was seriously wrong was when I woke up and I just said to my mom, I don't feel well. I didn't know why, I just knew that I wasn't well. And then I sat bolt upright and was like, I need to go to the hospital. Do you know why? I was starting to hyperventilate and hallucinate, and I couldn't tell left from right or up from down, and I was beginning to scream cry from this pain because it was just getting more and more intense. So I forced my dad, and this is like 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning, I forced my dad to carry me downstairs, put me in the car, and drive me to the hospital as fast as he could. I literally remember making him run red lights to get to the hospital. And he actually did it, you guys. But while I was in the car, I remember taking a sip of water from a bottle that my dad had in the car. And oh my days, you guys. The second that water touched my lips, it all just made sense. Something deep inside my brain told me, that's what you've been missing. More, I need more. Apparently, I don't actually remember this, but when me and my dad were talking about this, a couple years after it happened, he told me that I drank like 3 or 4 bottles of water in the space of a few minutes because that is what my body was telling me I needed. Apparently, I drank so much water that I ended up throwing up half of it when we arrived at the hospital. Apparently, that's also a sign of really severe shock from dehydration. You need water, but your body rejects it by mouth, and after a certain point, the only way you can tolerate it is intravenously, which thankfully is what I end up having. But bruh, the state I arrived at the hospital in was ridiculous. By the time we got there, I couldn't even recognize my dad. I literally remember telling a nurse, can you tell my dad that I love him? And she said to me, what do you mean? He's right over there. Like, I was lying on a bed, my dad was sitting right next to the bed, but when I looked at him, he seemed so far away. Like, it felt like he was on the other side of the room. And I just remember saying to this nurse, where is he? That is how bad my dehydration was. Thank God we got there in time, but the doctors did confirm that I was severely dehydrated. That is what caused my sickle cell crisis, and that was why I was hallucinating. I literally hallucinated the entire time I was at that hospital. I thought so many weird things. I'm not gonna go into them now, but I might do a story time on the full story. Let me know if you guys would want to see that. Next question. What kind of parent do you think you would be? I've always imagined myself to be a cool parent. Like, if I ever have kids, I want them to be able to have fun with me and to feel like they can tell me anything. You know, the last thing I want is for my kids to hide something from me because they're scared of how I'd react or scared that they'll get in trouble. I'm not gonna take no shit from them. Like, they better not give me no sass. But I'd like to think we could still like have fun together. What's the most romantic thing that's ever been done for you? A guy bought me a coat once. That's really it. Ooh, arrange them in descending order of importance. Money, love, family, career, and friends. Wow, that is a good one. Alright, first I'd say love. Just in general, all types of love, not like just romantic thing. Then I'd say career, then family, then friends, then money. Okay, we'll do one more. Tell us about your 5 bad habits. Oh, bad habits, what do I do? Alright, I think number 1 would be that I procrastinate with almost everything. Always have, probably always will. Oh, you know what? I'm also a late replier. Almost everyone that knows me will say that I take days to respond sometimes. Usually just because I have a lot of messages on all my social medias. Although if you are special to me, like if you're family, a bestie, or if I have a crush on you, you will get priority, I promise. Another thing I do is sleep late. My sleep schedule is awful. Ask my mom, honestly. It constantly disappoints her. Like these days, my usual bedtime is around 3 a.m. Although last night I did fall asleep early at 1. What else? Oh, if I'm not going out anywhere and I'm just staying home for the day, there's a good chance I'll spend the whole day in pajamas. And the last one I think would be that I'm really forgetful. So sometimes I forget to like close doors or turn off TVs and stuff. Yeah, that was literally just 5 reasons Charlotte the Starlet is lazy. Anyway, I think that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give that like button and that notification bell a little kiss. And subscribe to become a starlet. Once again, thank you guys so much for getting me to 2,000 starlets. I'll see you guys later. Bye!